So good morning everyone. We will start our botany lecture as soon as you are ready and most students will arrive. So any questions so far? So I think others can join later and let's start now. And the topic of today's lecture is leaves. And leaves are the most varying part of the plant. So it's so varying that botanists have to develop a special terminology for the description of the leaves because it is not possible to describe the leaf without with a normal language. So the leaves are the most can you see the slide completely?
Yes, teacher, leaves mercy.
So I mean, do you see it completely without buttons on the of the program?
No, I think there is three buttons on the left.
Okay, so one moment. Okay, so now change the view. Just waked up. Sorry, it's like making some errors, misclicks. I think should be better now. And the leaf is so this is so can you now see that it's the whole screen?
We see.
Okay, so the leaves are uh, have special structures. So the typical leaf is shown on this slide, and the leaf. So this is a stem where the leaf will anchor itself, and you can see here a small structure. It's actually axillary board that helps the leaf, and then small leaf-like structures at the bottom uh, of the leaf are the stipules, and this stem-like structure is a petiole. Petiole will anchor the leaf to the stem, and then this leaf itself will grow from this petiole, and then uh, do you see these uh, vessel-like structures, the vessel-like structures in the leaf that are branching? Can you see?
Yes.
So this looks like the veins in the human body or the animal body, and they are also called the veins. So these are veins, and then the uh, the leaf itself is called the blade, because the leaves are usually uh, thin like a blade, and so that is why this new terminology for you, that is a blade. So this is a blade, veins, petiole, um, and so these are three main structures of the leaf, and most leaves have them: petiole, blade, and veins. And uh, so these are axillary bud, so is not part of the leaf, but it's commonly here. And then two stipules are also not part of the leaf, but they also usually are there. uh, and leaves can be a simple, that means they have single blade, and compound. Compound leaves are divided to several leaflets, and so the Quercus lobata or California white oak is a good example of the simple leaf. So these are different types of the leaves that can be found, and compound leaves can be uh, pinnately compound or palmately compound. So pinnately compound is a type of the arrangement of the uh, compound leaf that uh, the leaves will anchor opposite to each other from two sides, and then there is a central leaf at the end. So this is another tree. American also is white ash. And then there is also a parliamentary compound. The type of the arrangement also compound leaf, so not simple leaf, compound, that has leaflets in the form of the hand, like we have palms in our hand, and the leaves are the palms, and the arrangement is like a palms: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have 5 palms on our hand, And then the same here, the leaf have 5 leaflets that are arranged like a palm. So this is your first, second, third, fourth, and fifth finger. So, and this is a leaf from of the Ohio backyard. So, as actually also American species, buckeye. So, Ohio buckeye is actually uh, the uh, the example of the palmately compound leaf composition. Sometimes it's hard to identify if the uh, leaf is simple or compound, because this, so here you can clearly see that this is a leaf, but sometimes like you see this, but like the leaf have like here it's more coated, and then you can look at the leaf and think for hours if it's simple or compound. So it's not very obvious actually. And also the leaves have arrangement in the stem. So like this is not a stem, so this is a petiole. But if we look at the stem, so this is here at the bottom of the slide, this is a stem, and then like these leaves can be arranged differently on the stem. So there is alternative arrangement. Alternative means that one on the left, then some space, and then one on the right. So alternative arrangement is mostly common, and this is example of the American beech. Uh, so or Fagus grandifolia. So that means the species has a large leaves, and uh, alternative arrangement has one leaf on each node. And so nodes are the places where the leaves attach to the stem. And then the opposite arrangement is pretty simple. Leaves arranged opposite to each other, so they have a common node, so they attach at the same place. So if here we have a left and then right, left, right attachment, so because they are attached uh, not in the same, so from the right and the left they attach in the different nodes, but here they attach on the same node. So this is example of the sugar maple. Sugar maple gives you a maple syrup that is very tasty, and usually sold in a uh, so in a groceries that like also sometimes it's sold like a medicinal plant, because maple syrup is so tasty and can be used to in combination with the drugs that are beta, so to especially for the children, so they can they like the syrups, so and they uh, so they can take the medicine. So this is sugar maple with the opposite arrangement, and then world called arrangement is when the uh, there are more than 3 leaves on the same node. So you can see that these are like uh, the same, like palmately compound is uh, resembles the hold arrangement, and opposite uh, arrangement resembles the penicillin compound, but this is not, these are different. So because this is a petiole and this is a stem, but still they resemble each other, so that is why uh, they are here on the same slide, so you can compare them. So this is a noted stem, so 3 or more leaves will grow on this node. This is hold compound. So this is morphology, and then there are different leaves by their structure and functions. And for example, this leaf is covered by the hairs. So it's not very common, but here there is no so much fur, so it looks like a fur in animals. See, you even cannot see the green part, so it's so uh, different. So that shows that there are so much difference in the leaves morphology, anatomy, and that is why leaves are used to identify the plants. Sorry, to identify the plants. Um, then also leaves can, so this is actually same as the food, as a sheep. So you can take food from the sheep or from this plant. So it looks very, if you touch it, it looks the same. It feels the same. And the microscopic structure of the leaves is also very complex, and there are several tissues that the surface is covered by upper epidermis, and upper epidermis have a cuticle to open and close and allow the air to pass through. And then there is a polyzoid parenchyma. Polyzoid is usually a part of the building that is on the fresh air and has some plants. So that is why it's called Polyzoid Mesophyll. And then there are veins. This is a vascular system for xylem and phloem. And we can see here a xylem. This is a phloem, and this is a bundle sheath. And then between them there is a spongy mesophyll. Spongy mesophyll is called spongy because it looks like a sponge. So it's not very condensed like here, like polyzoid mesophyll, and it has much air inside, so allows for uh, photosynthesis to happen. And then there is a stoma here to allow the air pass with the two guardian cells that can open and close. And I'm sorry, the cuticle that is on the upper side is not for the air, it's to protect the air from going out. So it's like a roof. So actually this is the roof of the leaf. Like the roof, you cover a roof with a not non-permeable component to prevent roof leaking. So the same leaves have a cuticle that is a waxy layer that prevents water from uh, passing the water and prevents water absorption so the water will just run out to the side of the leaf and then to the soil. It will drop to the soil. And then this is actually palisade of your house, and then spongy mesophyll of your house. So it's you have a good thermal protection. And then lower epidermis, second layer. So this is a upper epidermis, this is a lower epidermis, and these stomata are located at the downside of the leaf, so there is less sun here, so that is why the water will not evaporate much, but still there is a gas exchange. So this is a main tissues that are typical for the leaf, and the uh, stomata have two leaves, sorry, two cells, guard cells, and subsidiary cells. So this is open state and this is a closed state. So if you look under the microscope, it looks like this. So this is a closed state and this is the open state, and sometimes they can be a little bit different. Subsidiary cells can be here. So this is a like another type of the guard cells, and you can see here clearly that the leaves will, the guard cells will open and close, and the subsidiary cells will help to open and close the guard cells. So this is a type of the leaves that open. So water lily that opens when it's sunny during the day, and it will close during the night. So this is a very beautiful flower that lives on the surface of the water, and then it will open like this during the day and then it will close for the night. So to save the water and to protect, and the leaves here will protect the flower from the night insects that can destroy the flower. And during the day the flowers attract the insects that will transfer the pollen grains. So this is one of the most beautiful flowers in the world. And so let's see if we still have time. So the uh, the tissues of the leaf are the same. They are epidermis, mesophyll, xylem, and phloem. So this very common tissues that you are familiar with all of them. And these tissues are arranged to optimize the photosynthesis. Uh, and because the leaf has a large surface area that is exposed to the sun, and uh, also the leaves will evaporate the water that can cool down the body of the plant, to prevent overheating, the same as we are sweating during the hot day. And plants will evaporate water, and but plants are will are more economical on water, so they have a waxy layer to prevent the sweating, and they only allow to evaporate water a little, so as little as required to make them cool down. And uh, the the amount of the stomata is higher in the lower epidermis uh, than in the upper epidermis, and that allows to reduce the water too. Uh, do you do you remember this fur like this one? So these are also required to reduce water loss. So these are called trichomes, and uh, the this plant is actually called lamb's ears. So this is a lamp, and it represents the lamp ears because it's leaf-like structure. And so if you touch these leaves, they feel fuzzy. Uh, and they help. So the function is to help make the less water loss, because the food will make the air near in between the fur more much moisture, and also they reflect the sunlight and protect from the overheating. And some of the trichomes will secrete uh, stinging irritants that protect from animals that can eat the plants, and uh, also that protects from the insects that eat the leaves. So actually very good and handy protection. And the tissue that makes a photosynthesis is a mesophyll, like polysod mesophyll, and the uh, spongy mesophyll. So sorry, polysod mesophyll and spongy mesophyll here. And uh, the polysod mesophyll is the main site of the photosynthesis because it's located just under the epidermis, so sound goes from the opposite. Epidermis is transparent, and that is why polysod mesophyll can make photosynthesis very effectively. And spongy mesophyll uh, will not photosynthesis much because it's covered by the polysod mesophyll, but it will allow air to pass through, and this is the main function of the spongy mesophyll, to allow the carbon dioxide pass through the layers. Uh, the usually the in the leaves that photosynthesis more, they have several layers of polyzoid mesophyll. So this leaf has only 2 layers. Some 3 or 4 layer polyzoid mesophylls are exist. Um, so usually the plants that live in the shade, they have less polyzoid mesophyll, and those plants that are living in open sunlight, they have more layers of the polyzoid mesophyll. And the vascular tissue or the vein, so this is actually the vein, and they extend over all the leaf, and usually have an extensive branching, and um, each so the veins have a xylem and phloem, and xylem conducts the water and phloem conducts the organic substances, mostly sugars, and usually uh, xylem is on the upper side and phloem is in the lower side. These non-vascular tissues surround the xylem phloem, and together they form bundle sheath extensions. Uh, so bundle sheath may be from the different tissue types: collenchyma, sclerenchyma, and parenchyma. And there is a difference uh, uh, in the structure of the eudicots and monocots. So the eudicot leaves is usually have a broad blade and petiole, and usually they have netted venation. So if you look at the leaf, so this is a typical eudicot leaf. So it has large a blade and netted venation. So these veins look like a net, and like this here also. So all these are erudicots. And monocots, we don't have monocots here. So actually we have it here. Monocots have a very tiny leaves that are long and and it's very thin wall cells, and they are called belliform. And those leaves have a central vein that is called mid vein, and the veins are usually located alongside uh, the leaf. So it looks like we are almost over the time. So are there any questions? So this is actually the cut of the pine needle. Needle is another type of the leaf that is seen in the trees only, in the evergreen trees. And these are, what do you think this is? So these drops of the water. What do you think where these drops of the water come from? Can you see the drops?
Comes from the leaf inside.
Yes, it is from the leaf. Some some people think that this is the morning water that precipitates on the leaves, but it's not true. So actually, this is a Fragaria vesca, is a uh, medicinal plant with the small white flowers, and then they will give you berries, very tasty red berries, strawberries. So actually, this is strawberry. So if you like strawberries, then you should know that this is Fragaria vesca, Latin name. So and this water comes from the leaves inside, and from the inside leaves, and is actually excessive water from the leaf, and it's not. It's called guttation. So it's not early morning dew. It's guttation uh, done by some of the leaves. Uh, so if no questions, then I think uh, that is we are done for today, uh, and see you next week, next in 2 weeks at the lecture, and see you next week at the practice. The lecture is over, so actually if no questions, then uh, see you next time.
Okay, teacher, bye.
Bye bye.